YouTube? Welcome to Transatlantic Wrestling Talk. I am your host, Andy. As always, joined by my co-host, Dale.
We have you. Good morning. How are you, my friend? I'm fantastic today. Thank you so much for asking. And did you have fun with your little fire games last night?
Oh, yeah. That's it. And just for anyone who doesn't understand, in the UK here we have what we'll call bonfire night, where we set a bonfire and burn a figurine or a paper mache man of Guy Fawkes who tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament, and we have lots of fireworks. So the whole street was misty and it just smelled like fire.
Do you think he would have realized how much created?
No, don't think he would have realised what happened.
That's good. Okay. Well, do you think that he would have done it anyway, though?
Do you know what? I'll be honest. Considering like we burn this guy every year and all like that, I don't think I haven't really looked into. I know we tried to blow up the Houses of Parliament, but I haven't really looked into what was the reason for him doing it. But I suppose people nowadays just want to do the same, so no difference, I suppose.
I guess yes, but you have one religious ideology back how many years ago? 160, you said?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so one religious ideology. Look, we did research today, guys, so it wasn't just about wrestling. We're educating you. But let's go back into 1995, Survivor Series, a tumultuous time where Shawn Michaels was getting blown around each corner from Vince McMahon and wouldn't stop short of telling Vince to thank him for giving him fellatio. But overall, though, what a fantastic event. Survivor Series 1995. We are going to be in Landover, Maryland, the US Air Arena, which I don't think is still there. We have a jam-packed crowd of 14,500, and it looked very, very sold out, too. Looking here, also, buy rate was 135, and actually, that means it's a non-official buy rate of 0.57. So it hit a lot of homes. It was still actually doing a lot more numbers than in your houses at the time. But you're steadily growing, and especially it's good to see because you actually have, these are bad times where they're taking out water coolers inside Titan Towers just to save a little bit of cash.
Yeah, and do you know what, mate? That's probably one of my first observations of this whole pay-per-view is the front and center of the sponsorships on it.
Karate fighters.
But did you see at the beginning of it where they listed like 4 different sponsorships? And I was thinking, this must be, obviously this is the bad time and they're obviously trying to get some money in here, aren't they?
Yeah. But look, overall, though, it was still exciting because, you have these guys that are in and out of a lot of different matches here that, they mix it in, and we'll mix that match in later on in the show. But, we start off, we get introduced before anybody comes out to guest announcer for the day, Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect. When I see his music, it makes me smile because I was a big fan of Mr. Perfect. I really enjoyed him in both his commentary and his wrestling.
Yeah, correct. A very good heel commentator. Joined the team of Vince McMahon and Jim Ross. Jim Ross was very, very professional at this time, and Vince McMahon calling Vince McMahon matches is something that you and I are used to for the early 90s and going into the mid 90s. And this is 1995 is smack dab in the middle, so this is where that transition would happen. Mr. Perfect, fresh off his Lloyd's of London policy, where he can't get in the ring until he will go to WCW in a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, and that was the thing. Just anybody who doesn't know what Lloyd's of London is, they are a big insurance firm in, you guessed it, London, that people get insurance policies with for kind of out the ordinary insurance issues. So, for instance, wrestlers are known for going to Lloyd's of London. They also insure J-Lo's ass, and they insure
$1 million a cheek.
Yeah,
$1 million a cheek.
Yeah, they also somebody's legs as well. I can't remember who it was. There's a famous one.
I don't know about the legs. It could have been Stacy Keibler. Let's just keep it with wrestling. Just saying. But actually, this is a little tidbit. John Laurinaitis Animal from LOD could not participate in anything but tag matches because his Lloyd's of London was for singles competition. So when he got paid off, he could only do tag team matches.
Yeah.
So if you saw Hawk in an individual match, you wouldn't see Animal in one.
Yeah. Yeah. So crazy policies that are just proper out the norm, not something that me or you would get in any type of format. So,
we wouldn't pay for it. It wouldn't be worth our time.
No.
Not that premium.
Yeah,
but
definitely not worth insuring this face.
No. We have faces made for podcasts.
Yeah, my face got smashed in. The doctor had just turned up with a Sharpie and sort of frowny face.
I would think a Woolly Willy.
Yeah.
Had a little hair up top here. Maybe down the bottom. Anyway, let's go back to wrestling.
Yep. So first match on this card, we've got Bodies Owners, the start of the Bodies Owners, because we did have the Bodies Owners actually become a tag team and they become champions at one point, and this was the first time they were actually the Bodies Owners as a team with Skip, Rad Radford, Dr. Tom Pritchard, and 1 2 3 Kid with Sonny and Ted DiBiase. Then on the other side, we had the Underdogs, Marty Jannetty, Hakushi, Barry Horowitz, and Bob Holly. Now, the match, not really much to talk about on this match, mate, but one question that I do want to ask you straight away is Barry Horowitz, Hall of Fame, yay or nay?
Without a doubt, yes. His rape... I almost said a really bad word right there. His wrestling, I combine wrestling and capabilities in one, and think about what that could sound like. The wrestling capabilities were a lot more than Goldberg, and he did his job to where he would put people over Barry Horowitz. I wanted to know exactly what made this happen, but let's break this match down for a second. The Underdogs. We have Barry Horowitz, who beat Skip, Chris Candido, on the other side on a random episode of Superstars one day. I remember watching that live on a Saturday, and they made this into a SummerSlam match a couple weeks later. I don't know what Candido did to piss people off because he was getting a pretty decent push at that time coming from Smoky Mountain, and Sonny was very highly regarded, but I think we could tell exactly what happened there.
Do you think this was the first coming of Miro and Sable, in the fact of the guy coming with the bigger reputation and kind of was expected to do more, and then the woman took over them, which pushed the lad down?
No, because they were not set on getting Sable at the time. Sable came in with them into the meeting with Mero, and they decided to get her a contract. When they met with Mark Mero, and we've talked about this, Johnny B. Bad was trained to be Johnny B. Bad. Mark Mero was not trained to be a wrestler. He was trained to be Johnny B. Bad. So when it didn't really translate, and it took a while here. You and I discussed King of the Ring 97, I believe. And we said about other winners that could have happened because we ended up crowning King Shamrock at the time.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't understand why you couldn't do anything with Mark Mero, because that would have been a good push. That boxing, he won the Golden Gloves. So at this point, he's going to be a boxing king, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I think that what happened was certain people there, we'll talk about them later, wanted Sonny to actually be around them more and be a focal point as far as merch sales goes, highlighting, managing with Smoking Guns later on. They did a dark match today, but she ended up floating around. She was more of a main piece for storylines. But they might have just pushed Candido down the ladder because it didn't work out. I'm going to go over a couple other things here too. Okay, so one of these things are not like the other when you're looking at the contestants in this match, okay? So, yes, Dr. Tom Pritchard, who was a heavenly body, which we talked about Jimmy Del Rey being the most sexy partner in the world for the heavenly bodies. They separate Pritchard to actually work with Skip, and then there would be Skip and I was going to say
Chip,
yeah. So that would work out a little bit later on. He would dye his hair blonde and whatever. Then you'd have the 1 2 3 Kid, who would be in Money Inc. at that point. And we'll get into that later on. And Rad Radford, Louis Spicoli, that Vince McMahon always called that fucking drug addict. But the Underdogs, Bob Holly, sure, fits the description. Marty Jannetty, who I'll get to in a second, worked his fucking ass off in this match. And then we have Hakushi. Boy, did they go wrong with that guy.
And
Hakushi was something there. But let's put it out there. Marty Jannetty was the ultimate warrior with talent. What do I mean by that? They kept bringing him back over and over again, giving him a job. However, he might not be the most charismatic guy, but he worked his ass off for this. In this match, he did a top rope power bomb to Skip.
yeah.
And you go, where the hell did that come from? Did you see that coming at all?
No, I didn't at all. But I also I was watching as it come down, and I thought, you know what? Skip just took it really well. He really did.
Yeah. Got pinned right after that. There's an underlying theme here. 1, 2, 3 Kid screwed Razor Ramon out of a win against Sid. He gets bought into this match by Ted DiBiase. Razor comes out in the beginning to try and fight with 1, 2, 3 Kid. They have to push him back. So we have Razor Ramon watching a tiny TV monitor in the back with some people from the Bone Street crew. We'll get to that. And then we have a nice little ending where Sid comes out, does the clothesline, not the clothesline, but just when you pull the guy on the rope. I'm drawing a blank here.
Oh God, not slingshot.
It's like a guillotine.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, pulls Jannetty across the ropes, and 1, 2, 3 Kid gets the win. Nice opener. You have the sole survivor of the 1, 2, 3 Kid. Nice little opener there. Told a nice story.
Yeah. And the 1, 2, 3 Kid was the sole survivor on that one. Got the win for his team. Happy days.
Razor Ramon's pissed off.
Yeah. And we'll go to him in a little bit. Second match on this card was Bertha Faye, Aja Kong. Yeah. It was a car crash.
Can I please try to pronounce these?
Go on.
Unless it'd be better for you with your accent.
Let's try a proper Old English accent. So we've got Bertha Faye, Aja Kong, Tomoko Watabe, Lioness Oscar with Harvey Whippleman. Defeated Alundra Blaze, Kiko Inu, Saki Hagawa, and Shapata Asari.
All right, now I'm going to do the lazy English. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Bertha Faye, Aja Kong, Tomoko Watanabe, Lioness Asuka. Not the Asuka we know. With Harvey Whippleman, defeated Alundra Blaze, Kyoko Anoi, Saki Hasagawa, and Chaparita Asari.
Right, and I've only got one thing note on this match.
Aja Kong.
Kyoko Inoue is not related to Antonio, is he? Oh no, it's Inoki. Yeah.
We're pointing out the high points in this match, guys.
Yeah. And apart from that,
I thought watching the German suplexes by Alundra Blaze looked very clean. I like the fact that Bertha Faye gets eliminated and just clearly rolls out and just doesn't care. They're really promoting very interesting here, especially with the times right now, with Shinsuke versus Great Muta being announced. Which there's, by the way, that's Triple H saying, "Fuck your Forbidden Door, we have our own."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And kudos to you, because do you want to see that match? I know Muta has limitations, but if anybody's going to put him over, it's going to be Shinsuke.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like the fact that in this match they feature Aja Kong with that backhand spin. That looked that looked good. And kudos to Kevin Dunn too for helping kind of hide some of the whiffs, I guess you could say, from some of the other ladies.
Yeah.
A lot of cluster here, but still, I enjoyed this match, especially with Aja Kong.
Yeah, I just put on it that at least they're starting to do something with the women here, and they're progressing in the next couple of years after that, and then we got to where we are today. Next match, probably my favorite match on this card, was Goldust versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Two just awesome workers for me.
Yeah.
Do you think? Okay, I don't know whether this is going to be a bit of a thing here. Do you think Bam Bam Bigelow was the best big man?
Oh boy. Well, Andre's up there. Automatically, Andre's up there because that is a big man. As far as athleticism goes, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's footage all around of seeing Andre the Giant. I'm sorry, the Giant, or Paul White doing drop kicks off the top rope. I mean, there's been times where we've seen
Give me your top 4 big men
top 4 big men. Oh boy, that's a good one.
based on athleticism.
All right, so Bam Bam would definitely be up there. Not gonna sit here and say Typhoon or Tugboat or something like that. Rikishi did a nice inside out bump when he was 2. Okay.
So you've got 2 more.
I got 2 more. Oh, jeez. I'm gonna go Umaga.
Okay, and your last one?
I'm gonna have to think about that. Like I can't. That's tough.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Bam Bam. I'm gonna go with Umaga, same as yourself. I am gonna go with Rikishi, just based on his Hell in a Cell bump. And my number 4 is Big Boss Man.
Okay, my number 4 is gonna be Roadblock.
Okay. Douchehead.
No, right. You know what we could do? Hey, hold on. Wait. That's a very open-ended question, because then you could put One Man Gang up there.
Was One Man Gang as athletic had as much athleticism as Big Boss Man, do you think?
No, but sizes did matter. I'm not going to sit here and say Batista's going to do an inside-out bump. He was huge, though. You want to talk about big men? How about The Undertaker?
No, but I'm talking big men.
Portly. All right, Giant Haystack. Big Daddy.
Yeah, but again, you look at like Tingy, he just split, like Big Boss Man would sprint round the wing and stuff like that. Akeem would just wobble. Big Daddy would wobble. There was no, do you know what I mean?
All right.
I'm talking about big guys that could actually wrestle. And I'm not talking big guy wrestling. I'm talking actually athleticism could wrestle.
Big Daddy V.
Right, let's move on, because do you know what? I can't speak to your child, because you can't have a legit adult conversation when you're going to throw names like Big Daddy V out there.
Okay, but then again, you just stole 3 of my selections. Remember, I went first, and I laid the blueprint for you.
But I already had them in my head.
No, you didn't, because you're just like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to agree with you on Umaga. Dude, look, you may be the coffee cup, but I'm the stirrer, okay?
One thing I will say to you, though, if you say Sir Mo, I'm cutting the call out.
Very good.
Well, now this match, Goldust and Bam Bam, really, really good match. Goldust is on his way up here, isn't he? He's on the way up. I think Bam Bam was starting to slow down a little bit more here, and you could see it in his work a little bit. But he's still an absolute legend for me, and this was a solid match. Goldust gets the win, which is the right decision. We move.
Yeah, this was actually Bam Bam's last pay-per-view match here. This is he would actually go to where after this?
ECW.
Yeah. Yeah, he would go to ECW after this. That's a guy I would love to have talked with at some point. But he's got some very interesting stuff on the internet, shoot-wise. And he's got a lot of insight, too. He mixed in with a lot of different people. He had a lot of different friends here. But if you ask Kevin Nash about a certain thing that happened when they were on the road, yeah, I'm not going to tell. I'll just say people look it up on Kevin Nash's Bam Bam story, because it's scary.
Yeah. All right. Well, we move on. We go to.
I got a question first before we go into this. Do you remember a production like they had for Goldust ever happening prior to him?
No.
I think if anything, maybe it would be like a special entrance on a WrestleMania if. But this is when the glitter would just be flowing. Marlena was such a mystical character too. Nice production here overall. I enjoyed the theatrics of it, and I really think that it looked like Goldust was smuggling plums in that outfit.
Yeah, he's done really well with it, didn't he? Altogether, I liked the Goldust character. I know a lot of people didn't really fancy it too much, but I really liked it. I always
bizarre.
Did.
It's bizarre. And that's why it was what it was. Right. Yeah, exactly. Me too. And it was bizarre, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that's why I do think the Stardust character is pretty funny. Because when you think about it, Cody did become a bigger star, and he still went off the. Just saying.
Yeah. I think we will still see Goldust one more time before his career's up and done. So we've got the next one. We've got the Dark Side, Undertaker, Vega, Fatu, and Henry O versus King Mabel, Jerry Lawler, Isaac Yankem, and Hunter Hearst. Going other ways, we've got the BSK versus.
Pretty much the BSK.
Mm-hmm.
Look, let's think of just the Royals in this, okay? Take out King Mabel, who comes. By the way, these guys are working overtime that are carrying Mabel to the ring. Oh, Mabel's 600 pounds at this point, maybe 500, whatever. It doesn't matter at that point. They're holding him on a freaking chair on a throne, and they're bringing him in. I get what they're doing with pushing Mabel like this because nobody looked like him. He was a huge size. I like the heel push. Could he wrestle? No. He nearly killed people in the ring too. You know, that's why I really think this could have been very breaking kayfabe with this injury with him, with Undertaker. But Isaac Yankem, Kane right there, Jerry Lawler, Triple H, a young Triple H. Think of this is crazy. Just insane there. Then on the other side, you have Undertaker's boys, right?
Have you watched the BSK episodes on the network yet?
No, I have not. And everybody tells me, really?
It's all right.
I'd rather hear the shoot interviews.
I think because there were so many of them, they were more talking to each other than anybody else.
Oh, well, that's okay depending on the subject matter. But yeah, I understand. It's like you want to know a little bit more.
Yeah.
But, you know, Yoko will be in later on. But I hear more shoots from like Charles Wright, which I appreciate. I like hearing from them about like what it was to hang out. Did you know that Charles Wright or the Godfather said that Paul Bearer rolled the tightest joint in the world?
Can imagine.
Yeah, that's funny. But King Mabel was the one that gave him his first blunt. I'm not really, you know. Are you surprised by that?
No, I'm not.
By the way, we're talking about Fatu, who's Rikishi Fatu.
How small was Rikishi here?
Yeah. You got to realize he was a head shrinker, and it looked like he did get shot. So this is all true to life. And then he wants to do the let's make a difference thing, which ended up falling flat on its face when they actually had gang members in the crowd a couple of weeks later when they were doing his push. That never evolved to anything, and thank God for that. Savio Vega, great worker, small guy, somebody that would work his ass off in this match. Who else we got? A certain slot farmer?
Yeah, I always loved Henry O.
Yeah, I was a huge fan. He'd come out with the slot bucket. Him and Triple H were feuding. It was a nice little feud too. I think that there was a lot of good angles in here. And then Undertaker, you want to go into what happened with Undertaker?
Phantom of the Undertaker. Well, seeing him on this match, I didn't think he was in it much. I thought his entrance was longer than his participation in the match.
Well, how did he get the mask?
Mabel crushed his face. Basically.
Yeah. It was written off that I think he did need time, though, because he was going for how long at that point? Like 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Mabel and Yokozuna crushed his face. Undertaker didn't really sell it in the ring when it actually happened.
In real life, it was actually Mabel that killed him, wasn't it, with the face?
Yeah.
I think Yoko done what Yoko does, but didn't actually touch him. It was Mabel.
And we'll talk about how he hurt Diesel earlier on in the year at SummerSlam when the King of the Ring had his title match against Diesel. That was back in the day. It was like an unofficial #1 contendership, the King of the Ring. Yeah. Remember, you win that, and then once in a while you'd get that, #1 contendership match. You'd get that title match. They don't do that anymore because Xavier Woods didn't get that.
Yeah. Nope.
But I will say this: I love the fact that they were bringing good wrestling here by everybody involved.
Yeah. Just Jerry Lawler,
Jerry Lawler milking the crowd. Burger King. Goes to set up Savio Vega for another pile driver, and Vega puts his hands down, blocks it, tags Taker in. Hot tag, to say the least. That was like, That's a very authentic hot tag that's not really built up too much. Well,
No.
it is because they want to see Taker, but he
Mm.
comes in, kills everybody. Triple H ends up hightailing it. Henry O'Godwin has the bucket of slop outside, about to slop him. Triple H backs up into the ring. Undertaker grabs him, choke slams him over the ropes to probably about 80% through the ring.
Mm.
I thought that's strength, that's talent. Good for Triple H for taking that bump because damn.
That's it. And Triple H has probably jumped into it as well, which has helped. So it's, do you know what I mean?
But to hold him up across the whole ring, that's,
Yeah. But the Dark Side won this one.
Clean
Solid
sweep.
match. Yeah. Wasn't not spectacular, but it was just solid and nice. And enjoyable. So it's probably the most enjoyable matches on the card. Next, we've got Shawn Michaels, Ahmed Johnson, British Bulldog, Psycho Sid versus Yokozuna, or defeated, so they say Yokozuna, Owen Hart, Razor Ramon, and Dean Douglas with Mr. Fuji. This match was all right. Obviously, it was all about one person, wasn't it?
Ahmed Johnson. I love the concept of a wild card match. I want them to do this over and over again. I'm surprised certain companies have not done this. Instead, they just say that we have a ranking system and we honor it. Meanwhile, they're going on their 9th tournament to this calendar year. I believe that this should always be implemented because you have baby faces and heels. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. AEW doesn't believe in baby faces and heels. I will say I love the fact that you have these promos where Jim Cornette is on both sides. And the fact that he has to hop in from Owen and Yoko's side and then do a promo.
Someone turns around and mentions this, doesn't it, on the card and on the interview, and he goes, "What are you on about? I don't know."
I was here with Bulldog the whole time, getting him ready for his match. Very funny stuff. Very weird promo in the back too, because you had Owen and Yoko and then Shane Douglas. Well, I'm sorry, Dean Douglas. But Douglas knows that cadence. He's got that verbiage. The way he's able to articulate himself is very prim and proper, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But it ain't working here.
No.
I'll
tell you straight, I didn't rate Dean Douglas at all, anyway.
Nobody does. Nobody does. I don't think he even did. His vignettes were just...
No, even if you take Douglas in the ECW, I didn't like him, Shane. I just wasn't a fan of him at all across his whole career.
The Bionic Man. He always had something going on.
Yeah.
He always had an arm brace, knee brace, whatever.
It's a bit like, you get hurt. To be fair, for me at the moment, Shane Douglas and Karrion Kross remind me of each other. I think Karrion Kross is very, very good in the sense of Scarlet and that, but for whatever reason, I was watching him again last night and I was like, there's just something not right when you get in the ring. I don't know what it is yet.
I'm a huge Kross fan, and I will be the first to say this. Can we stop with escaping the cage to win?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk with you about this. We don't have any cage matches here, but let's do it right now. Fuck it. Let's do it live. Cage matches. Should we get away from the stipulation of escaping the cage to win?
Yeah, you could do, but then at the same time, that's just a Hell in a Cell match?
Hell in the Cell's to keep people out, apparently. That's what they want to say. No outside interference. They put stuff in there. In this case, with a cage match, they want you to stay in there. No chance of you going underneath the ring to get things. Got to keep in mind, okay? Look, cage match, you keep people in. That's how you settle things. Not, all right, let's beat up. All right, I'm going to run away now.
I don't know. For me personally, I think to myself, that's what a Hell in a Cell's for. I feel like if you do that, you're just making it a smaller Hell in a Cell. So what are you going to do? Get rid of cage matches?
No, you don't get rid of cage matches, but you get away from the stipulation of having to leave the cage to win.
I just think my thing is, if you take away the stipulation of leads in the cage to win, for me personally, I'd just be like, well, it's just a small Hell in a Cell match. I wouldn't want to watch it. I wouldn't be interested. I'd watch it. Don't get me wrong, so I wouldn't watch it, but I wouldn't be like, oh, great, you've got rid of that. I'd be like, well, it's just a smaller cell then, isn't it?
What if you bring back in the blue cage?
Oh yeah, that's good.
Thank you. That was the original way, though. I mean, everybody was escaping, and I still hear Orndorff's feet hit first, but like I said, just use the cage as a weapon. The Hell in the Cell was used the same way as a weapon, but at least you have the padding on the outside where you could have the weapons and kind of do other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna applaud Triple H for getting rid of these types of matches as pay-per-view events.
Yeah.
A grudge should not be settled because of the calendar year.
Okay. Well, let's get back to this match then. So, Ahmed Johnson won it for his team here, which was interesting. I know Vince was really big on him, wasn't he, at this point? You know what I mean? He just never got there, though, did he?
They gave him the rub. Look what they did with him. Between Pin and Yokozuna here, being tagged and having the rub from Shawn Michaels on there. I would like to talk with Shawn about everything that he did for Ahmed.
He did a lot as well. And that's the thing. People always say Shawn at this time was arrogant. He was this, he was that. But he did a lot for Ahmed.
Yeah. And Ahmed just wasn't convincing at all whatsoever. I remember watching this live, and I remember seeing Ahmed go to the corner just to like taunt. And then I'm like, Razor Ramon's in the ring. Why would you do that with anybody, especially with how he is here?
Yeah.
And of course, Razor's Edge, blah, blah, blah. Like that's a bad spot. But I love the match. I love the fact that they tag in Owen and Bulldog, and they start going off on each other. And Bulldog is still one of the most capable strong men that they had there. Yoko still looked like a professional here. Owen is just, we can't say enough about him. We didn't even mention him really here. Owen's just been phenomenal in this match too. I think they started off with Owen and Shawn, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Do you know what I always say with Owen Hart? Owen Hart was the seasoning in the soup. He'd just go in anything and make it better.
Yeah, it's true. Unless that soup is poop, which is Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah.
They didn't tie up at all, though.
We have a saying in the UK saying you can't polish a turd, and I think that was the case with Ahmed.
Yeah. Well, I also say puking on a pile of shit doesn't do much.
Well, as I say, okay, yeah, Ahmed's got the rub of the green here. Never done nothing with it. Bit of a waste of time. And then we move on to our main event. Bret.
Did you enjoy? Wait a minute.
No, I didn't enjoy that match.
You didn't enjoy Sid?
No.
You didn't enjoy Sid?
No, I didn't really. I didn't like Sid in these type of matches because I hate big guys in these type of matches where it's just so predictable.
Oh, other opponent stands up and goes, "How am I going to defeat this guy?
Yeah,
what am I going to do?" You scratch your head, But nice story here with Razor Ramon and 1, 2, 3 Kid, though, which would continue that.
Yeah.
I love the match. It's one of my favorite ever. Not even gonna lie, I love the wild card match. Just only because of who was featured here, and I was a huge fan of Shawn Michaels.
I'm not going to take your endorsement for any match with wild card or that. And after you made me watch that lottery bloody thing last time,
I did not win the lottery, by the way. It was $2 billion.
What was it? The thingy lottery won it.
The lethal lottery we did.
Yeah. Still makes me shudder. Right.
Be sure to check out our video review of
our lethal lottery. You'll find it hilarious because you'll just see us breaking.
It's actually, I'm not even gonna lie. It's actually probably the funniest of the videos that we had here.
Yeah. Well, we move on to the main event. We have Bret versus Diesel. No disqualification match for the WWF Championship. This was a really solid match. I really, really enjoyed this match. And I think potentially it was one of the best of Diesel's career.
Diesel admitted this was his best match ever.
Oh, did he? Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Diesel says that this was his best match. If you ask him, he says this was his best match. I would agree with him.
Yeah,
obviously
I do.
I mean, look, Bret Hart brings out the best in whoever. This is kind of a grudge match. This is how grudge matches should be. You had DQs going on in January when they first fought each other, and I think Bret had the championship at that point. And then you would actually have another match in between. I think, I'm not sure when they finally say, you know what, actually months and months down the road, you're going to have a really good match here. We have Brett take on Diesel, no disqualification. I remember a promo leading up, and it said, Diesel goes, "I got 2 words for you, Brett. Jack knife." But I remember seeing the word jackknife powerbomb, and or the phrase jackknife powerbomb, and it's only 2 words. So when you say it, when you say the enunciation, is it jackknife or is it jack knife?
I
don't know.
Jackknife. That's how we say it, jackknife.
Yeah, but it's 1 word, right?
Yeah.
But Diesel said, "I got 2 words for you, jack knife."
Yeah. Well, one thing that was very poignant with this match as well is this was what started the Montreal screw job and everything else. This is where that whole sequence of events started, isn't it?
Technically, yes. Technically, yes. This is also the first time the Spanish announce table is broken.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of history here.
One thing that I didn't like, though, is after Bret Hart defeated Diesel to win the championship.
Via roll-up,
which was nice. No problem with that. I love a good roll-up, me. Yep. But one thing I didn't like is after the match, it was all about Diesel, and there was nowhere. The commentary didn't once mention that Bret Hart was the new champion. Not once.
Well, this is, like you said, laying the groundwork for this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look. Vince is a businessman. He knows his contracts are going to be coming up soon. Might as well turn Diesel heel.
Yeah.
And might as well leave it a sour taste in the crowd's mouth.
Yeah.
For him to go to the other place.
Yeah, because there was no mention at all of Bret being the new champion. What title? Nothing. He didn't even play his music, really, did he?
We got spiteful companies, brother.
We
do. You know, these guys are spiteful. Remember, they had a very cold close to this show, where it just would go on the announce team, and they would just basically discuss exactly what was happening.
Yeah.
And say, "Oh, this is a terrible turn of events, but we have a new champion, Bret Hart."
Yeah. Okay. Well, all in all, I'd say brilliant match in that. So the aftermath.
What was your favorite spot on this match?
This match, none really. I just loved the whole match. I couldn't tell you. There's one. Do you know what? It's a bit weird with me because if one thing doesn't stand out, then that means I enjoyed the whole match. And that's what this match was. It was just kind of, there was so much going on in it that I just enjoyed the match as a whole.
Especially for no holds barred.
Yeah. And if I could say anything, I probably would say the roll-up.
Yeah, I'd actually...
Just because I do like a good roll-up.
I agree. And this was also the first time I remember the camera cables being used, too. I like that just to break, because Bret was outsmarting Diesel, who's got how many pounds and how many inches on him. You know, that's what I enjoyed watching. So
and that's why I like the roll up, because it made sense.
The whole match did.
Yeah.
Everything in that match made sense. Just the sequencing of everything, and just that's how you lay the foundation of getting a champion over like that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, WrestleMania, you know, from the prior year or earlier on in the year when they had Yokozuna end up, what was it? Yokozuna ended up getting beaten. Was it that year or the year prior? I think I'm fast forward. Well, look, Bret won with a roll up on that one.
Yeah, that's it. As I say, I don't mind the roll up being used as long as it's used in the right context, and that was fine. But right, aftermath of this pay-per-view. So several departures took place after Survivor Series. Okay, we had Bam Bam Bigelow left the WWF after losing to Goldust and joined ECW. Women's champion Alundra Blaze had a rivalry against Aja Kong on the 27th edition of Raw. And then what would happen after that, Dale?
She might take that belt somewhere and either return it, or maybe she just might get rid of it.
Yeah, she just dropped it in her thingy, didn't she?
Yep.
So we also had Sid joining the $1 Million Corporation, and that was about it, really. That goes on after this, and obviously we know what we do when we go on the run-off, because the thing is with WWE to this day, after Survivor Series, the run-off to the end of the year is quite dramatic, isn't it? It's just very, very, and I don't mind that. Don't mind that at all.
No, right, exactly.
Let's not forget we don't have a breaking season, so if you're gonna run, you run, but you can't just taper off a little bit.
You're planting the seeds for WrestleMania kind of in this aspect, because
Mm.
now you don't have your main event set because you're still deciding on who's going to win the Royal Rumble. And I believe the next Royal Rumble winner will be Sean.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Oh, sorry, it was. Yeah, Austin was 97, wasn't
he? Yes, but you got to remember one key point here too. I believe there was a spot where Sean would win, but Diesel would get eliminated by Sean with the super kick. So Diesel is still heelish, kind of. Then Diesel would afterwards lose to The Undertaker. Here's the best lore about this. Diesel was going to pin Undertaker if he wasn't going to WCW.
Yeah.
That's because the streak wasn't even really highlighted at that point.
No. Well, that is Survivor Series 1995, guys. Thank you so much for everybody who supported us. I know we've been a bit hit and miss with the content. We've got that sorted now, so we will be every Wednesday. Bang on the money. We will be there with our new content. So please do check us out. And thank you, as always, for supporting us. Follow us on social media. You'll see it in the description below. Make sure, if you haven't done, subscribe to the channel as well. But from me,
Andy,
and Big D.
Big D. I like that. The real Diesel. What's your pick for next week, my friend?
Been thinking about this a lot. I'm not going to tell you now because I've got about 3 things that I'm still looking at.
Cool. Okay.
I'm thinking, to be honest, the first original Survivor Series. In fact, yeah, that's what we're going to go for. The first ever Survivor Series.
The OG, huh?
Let's get a bit reminiscing in this house.
Love it. That's great.
Right. Okay, guys. Well, from me and Dale, until next time, take care.
Deuces, everybody.